It was 1990. I'm in Spring, Texas, attending Klein High School. We had just won the district track meet. We're all excited. We're on the bus coming home, and we're yelling, having a good time. And I hear this young lady in the back of the bus, and she's crying. I walk over to her. I said, "What's wrong?" And she says, "I can't do this." I said, "What do you mean you can't do this? You're the best. Out of all these schools in the district, you're one of the best." She looks up at me and she says, "Deidre, you think so?" I said, "Absolutely. You just did it. You can do it again. Now dry your eyes. Stop crying." I hand her a Kleenex, and as I'm walking away, she says, "Thanks, Deidre." And you know, she went on the regionals, won the regionals. She went on the state. She didn't win state, but you know, it just felt good trying to help her. Now, fast forward 20 years, and it's 2010, and I'm in Tomball, Texas, at this delicious barbecue restaurant. By the way, they make the best ribs and brisket. There's this gentleman, and he walks in, and you can tell he's a bit distraught. But by this time, you know what? I've had my experience with trauma, and I've built my emotional intelligence muscle, and I'm able to recognize personalities and traits. He sits down right next to me. His eyes are bloodshot red. And I say, "Are you okay, man?" And he says, "No, my girlfriend just left me, and I don't want to be here." I said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. What's your name?" He says, "Jacob." I said, "Jacob, you have your whole life ahead of you. There'll be more. I know what you're going through. There'll be more." So several months later, Jacob comes back in to this restaurant, and he says, "Hey, I remember you." And I said, "Hey, I remember you too. Hi, Jacob, how are you?" And he looks at me and he says, "I'm doing well." And he nods his head because he has this beautiful woman on his arm. And I said, "It looks like you're doing well. You take care." And he said, "You too." And I thank God Jacob didn't kill himself, and that I was there to help him through it. And I knew right then that I enjoyed helping people. You know, all I could hear was the ambulance going. And as I'm looking up and I see all the bright lights as I'm on my back on a gurney, and all I hear again is code red, code red. And they're wheeling me in to all these different machines. Mind you, I can't feel anything from my neck down. I tried to speak, but there's no tone or coming out of my mouth. At that point, I started having a conversation with God. What is going on? Am I having a heart attack? Am I having a stroke? I'm not ready to go. See, as I know a couple of hours earlier, I was just sitting in my office, coming back from lunch with a friend of mine, and my eyes go blurry, and my head feels like I've been hitting the back of my head with a baseball bat. My arms are heavy. My legs feel like they have cement on them. And so as they're wheeling me out of all these different machines and they take me back to a room, and I'm crying profusely, and my fiance at the time he's crying profusely. Doctor comes in and he's asking me all these questions, and I'm just looking up at him because I can't respond. And he goes, "Miss Miller, you've just had a stroke." Again, having a conversation with God, like, I know this is not it, Lord. I still got more to do. I still got more to do. He leaves the room and he sends a lady chaplain in, and she goes, "Can I pray with you?" And I nod, yes. And after she finished praying, she says, "Do you sing?" And I nod, Yes. And she goes, even though you can't say anything with your mouth, God can hear you when you hum. So I began to hum. And at the time, that's all I could remember of that hymn. But I was having a conversation with God, and I was like, God, I know you got more for me to do. And if you just get me through this one time, just get me through this. And I know you hear me, Lord. I know you hear me. You know, I'm in 8th grade at Dory Middle School in Spring, Texas. And it's career day. And so we're in the classroom, and there's a gentleman, and he's asking all of us, do y'all know what you want to be when you grow up? And I'm all excited. I'm raising my hand. Yeah, me. And he goes, okay, young lady, what do you want to be when you grow up? With a little sass. I say, an entrepreneur. He says, okay. Can you spell that? And I said, yes. ENTREPRENEUER. And he said, oh, well, young lady, you really know what you want to be when you grow up. And so I knew I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I watched my parents when I was younger struggle. And I knew I didn't want to struggle. I grew up in a middle-class household. My mother worked for a very popular computer company as a buyer. And my dad, he was a blue-collar worker for one of the top oil and gas water tank cleaning companies called Brown and Root. And I also recall at one point they had got laid off 3 months apart from each other. And my dad was just a couple of months from retiring. It devastated him. And it disrupted our family. And I knew that I didn't want to give up any kind of control like that in my household when I grew up. And I definitely didn't want anybody to be in control of how things went on in my home and in my family. What would I tell my 21-year-old self? Never give up, never give in, and keep dreaming. You know, at 21, I always wanted to be that entrepreneur, and I had that entrepreneurial spirit. But at 21, my life changed. I got married, I got pregnant, was having a baby, and I knew that I could not contribute to my family household on an entrepreneurial spirit. So I did the next best thing. I went to work, y'all. Got my first corporate America job, climbed that corporate ladder. I thought I was doing it. I thought I had made it. I got comfortable. I even decided to build my dream house from the ground up. And then those dreams got shattered very quickly. 2 months later, I could still see the boxes, the people holding the boxes coming out of the office. And I too had to carry some boxes out of that office. I was laid off as well. Mind you, I had just built my dream home and I was laid off. I had to go through 8 months of paying a mortgage with no job. Those trials and tribulations, what they did was they built my resilience muscle. They built my perseverance muscle. They built my determination muscle. And you know what? I'm even throwing a bonus for my 21-year-old self. That fear when you run across fear, or when you feel fear, take fear and put it in your back pocket, because your blessings are on the other side of that fear. You know, what I realized is that women are still hurting and they're struggling with the pressures and challenges of life. You know, I just spoke to a friend of mine a couple of days ago, and she owned her own business, and her friend went into business together. And she was one of those ones that she dotted her I's and crossed her T's, and she did her due diligence, but yet it still failed. And so now she's trying to open up another business, but she's paralyzed by fear. And I know that there's women out there that are paralyzed by fear, just like my friend. And I know there's women out there that are stuck in unhealthy and abusive relationships. And then you got those beautiful women out there. They're gorgeous on the outside, but they're sitting in their pain, and they're broken on the inside, and they're suffering in silence. And then you have women that are feeling unfulfilled, unseen, not heard, underpaid, and undervalued. And so women need a place to heal and unlock those mental prisons of their past. And I'm here to provide them a platform, a movement where they can peel back those layers of guilt, hurt, shame, and defeat, so they can break those chains that holds them back and keep them hostage. And I want to help them repair those cracks in their foundation so they can live their best life. Why do people hire us? You know, I was in Georgia, and I was working for this automobile insurance company. And there's a gentleman I had to prepare a write-up for. And so I brought him into my office, and I sat him down. And I asked him, I said, "Do you know why you're in my office?" And he says, "Yes, Deidre, I know why I'm in your office. I keep missing the details, and I keep making the same mistake over and over. But you always tell me, I can lead you to the water, but I can't make you drink." I said, "Yeah, you're right, I do." And you know what? That young man went on to improve his performance. He even got promoted while I was working with him and taking him through his career and his challenges, right? And you know what? To this day, that young man, we're still in contact with each other. I still mentor him. He's now married with 2 children. And he even brought his wife in. And you know what? I coach him and his wife. And it's a beautiful, beautiful story. But I also realize today that people are struggling more than ever with the challenges and pressures of life. And they trust me because they know that I can provide them with strategies and solutions that will help them with any part of their life, personal life, or even their business endeavors. And you know what? Our company also provides a place for those individuals that just need a place to heal, that just need a place where they can talk to someone that can help them get them back on track and mend those cracks in their foundation. And you know, we work with them one-on-one or one-to-many. It depends on what the situation is, but we will walk hand in hand with them until they receive that viable solution to handle any of their challenges and their problems. And so I pride myself on making sure that my company offers them the best service that they can possibly get. And I'm here to empower and uplift anyone that cross our path and need their foundation repaired. This has been an absolute wonderful experience. I came all the way from North Carolina and I felt like I was at home. Everyone's so professional, from photography to videoing, the whole situation. It's been quite an experience. I'm excited. I felt warm and fuzzy inside from this experience. I can't wait to see the finished product. And everyone around me has been absolutely wonderful, awesome. Hats off to the team.